All right, good evening. Welcome to the Sweet Talk. My name is Kim Matina. I am your host of the show. Today is Monday, May 27th, 2019, and I have the pleasure of having on today Mr. Jeffrey Bradbury from New Jersey, another New Jersey person. Woohoo! He is actually a really very qualified person. And let me go back into the Google Doc. I told him I was going to mess all this up because there's so much to introduce. He is the author of Kid Blog, an introduction to blogging with your students. He is the creator of TeacherCast, teachercast.net, TeacherCast University, and Educational Podcasting Today. And he has so many qualifications. He is a Google Certified Innovator. He is an ASCD Emerging Leader, Google for Education Trainer, a PBS Learning Media, Digital Innovator. So much here. It's just unbelievable. Microsoft Innovator, Educator, Microsoft Surface Expert. So I I am so happy that he is on today. We were talking before the show and we were laughing, and I'm just so glad to have him on. He's been podcasting for so many years, probably about 8 years, right? 8 years. And I am just an amateur here learning from him. So I'm so thankful that you came on today. I think this is like your second appearance on my show. So thanks, Jeff. I really appreciate it.
It is great to be here. It is great to see you.
No, it's always a pleasure having you on. I learn so much from you every time I interact with you either on Twitter or, through your blogs or your podcasts and stuff. So I'm glad that you took the time to be on. You have so many wonderful resources and valuable resources, and I really truly mean that. It's great to have somebody be on and it can share their experiences and expertise with other educators to help integrate technology into the classroom.
It is so nice to be here.
So today we're going to talk about using Google Sites
hmm
and branding your educational product using Google Sites. So Jeff's going to show us a lot of examples that he created using Google Sites and how he set up different pages and different websites and different formats so that he can brand his product, basically his podcast and shows or his resources. So I'm really looking forward to learning from you tonight, Jeff.
it is such a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to sharing a little bit about Google Sites and what they can do, and especially how it's going to be able to help out teachers, especially now that we're getting into those summer months. And every teacher knows that July and August are usually the longest months of the year because the paycheck stops. So we've really been working here on TeacherCast for what can you do to create a brand for yourself, up your website a little bit, bring in some extra income, and really use this technology that we love so dearly to help out not only yourselves but your families.
Yeah, so give us the tour. Like, so what are, because over the summer, teachers are really like, they're rejuvenating and they're getting ideas for September, back to school. And they want to start things fresh. And, maybe a Google site would be a great start to promote what they're doing in class or even to try to promote what their brand is. So give us some background and some information on how to get started using Google Sites maybe, and then how you set it up to brand your product.
Oh, well, absolutely. There's so many different great things that we can use Google Sites for. The new Google Sites, or new as we call them, really exploded 4 years ago. They came out in beta, and it took a little bit of time to pick up, but there's so many great features, and it's so easy to use. Just a little bit of history, Kim. Google Sites is about a 15-year-old product or so, actually, that Google actually, if I get my history right, purchased a company that did online websites and basically shoved it into their Google suite at that time. And it's HTML coding, there's gadgets, all these things that we now know as classic sites. Well, about 6 years ago or so, Google decided that it was time to update that into their new architecture and really make it a part of what is now called G Suite. And they've done an amazing job because it is so much easier now, and any teacher can go over to sites.google.com and create a new new Google site. So that way it integrates right with your docs, your sheets, your slides, calendar, maps, images. You can do banners. You can collaborate. You can very quickly have more than one person creating a website at a time. And it's so easy to get set up, get started, get published, and be seen by the world. It really is a no brainer for any educator out there. Try the new Google Sites. And today we're going to give a walkthrough of just several examples of what you can do. And stick around to the end because I'm going to show you guys some places where you guys can go for some resources on how to do this yourself.
Yeah. All right. So I know I use Google Sites for my school website. And I also took my school's webpage. They were using Weebly, and I
Hmm.
converted it over into Google Sites. All of my resources that I use online is in Google Sites. So I do have to agree with you. They've come a long way since they came out.
Certainly.
I still think they need to improve certain things, but maybe you can enlighten me on what I'm thinking that they can improve, and maybe I'm just not aware of certain things, and that you can, shed some light on that. So
Well,
I'm curious to hear what what you have to say about it.
yeah, I think for any project out there or any application, there's always pros and cons. And it always starts off with this is really great, but and then it turns into this is amazing. And if it could only do this. And now we're kind of in that gray area there where, yeah, there are some obvious things that the website program doesn't have. And they've already announced many of these requests are coming down the pipeline. I'm really looking forward to them launching. They didn't give a launch date yet on most of these things, but every month or so they're always updating Google Sites to add some new things. This last month they added image carousels, which doesn't seem like a lot, but the fact that you can now stick a bunch of images in, and I mean, when this started off, we were doing image carousels using Google Slides.
Yeah.
Why not, right? But now you can do that stuff natively. And you know what? It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be. But I kind of believe that Google is training us to be web developers kind of under our noses. And I'll talk to us a little bit today about how and why I have that philosophy. So where do you want to start? Where do you want to jump in?
Well, start off with Google Sites. So start off with how you laid out your Google site for the way you did for your brand,
Sure.
and explain why you did what you did and how you set it up, and maybe if there's like hidden features or different options that are not commonly known, maybe you
Sure.
can point them out.
So let's do this. What I like to do with Google Sites is I always try to figure out how can I make something look professional using this tool, right? Because after all, if we're going to use it for education, our job is to help our students be able to become publishers. So I want to start off with one of my favorite websites out there, and this is teachercast.net. Can you just confirm that we're seeing my screen?
Yes.
So this is TeacherCast, right? And if you notice on the top, we've got a nice brand, we've got some custom colors, and we've got our picture, and we've got some stuff on the right. So the idea here, Kim, is how do we take something that looks professional like this? And this is done on WordPress, and how do we design it using Google Sites? Now I'm going to stop here and say they're just different animals. So there's certain things that you would want to use a WordPress site for, certain things you'd want to use Google Sites. But if you look at our Google site here, this is the same kind of concept. I use the same picture, I put some similar words in, and as you can see up here, I've got a menu of things. So what I've done here between WordPress and Google Sites is this here is our front-facing website, and this has everything that I want my users and my readers and my listeners to see. But there comes a time where you need to build a dashboard for yourself, for your podcast, for your teaching. And so that's where Google Sites comes in. Everything that controls TeacherCast is found up here, almost like bookmarks. But instead of searching through the bookmarks up here, which kind of get a little wonky, and who wants to look at all of these different bookmarks, I simply have taken all of my favorite applications that I use on a daily basis, or the ones that keep my business floating, and I've put them all down here. So very much I've used this as a visual bookmarking system. And then up here I've got links to, show prep. I've got, this basically goes out to my Google Drive folder. Same thing, this opens up Google Contacts. Here's all the stuff that we do for our mastermind over at askthetechcoach.com and our media kit, all these different things that we have. I've turned Google Sites into a one-stop shop. Now, Kim, let me ask you, how many times have you been working on your podcast and somebody says, do you have a link for your Pinterest, for your LinkedIn, for whatever it is? That's the reason why down here I've got links to all of my social media stuff. It's just a quick grab the link and stick it in an RFP or an application or something like that. So you can see very easily here, we've turned Google Sites into a virtual media dashboard. So in other words, I clicked on the button that says to do, and here comes a Google Keep that's got all of my to dos, or I've got tech coach notes, and there's a lot of stuff that's in here that we're using, and you can see it's branded. We're gonna talk about that a lot today, but it's also a way for me to keep track of everything that I have going. And I'll show you one more thing here. I've taken this concept, and if I click on this button here, the concept of the data center, and especially in reference to what we do as technology coaches, right? This is my Google site that I use, and this basically controls everything that I do as a technology coach. Here it has, on the front page, I have everything that I need during the day. Because how many times do you hear a teacher say, I made a site, but I never use it? Well, you made a site, but you didn't make a site that you're interested in using. You made a site that someone told you to do. So I've made this website as my dashboard. In the beginning here, this tells me everything that I have to do in the day or in the week. Here's all of my frequently listed things. In other words, here's the staff portal, here's a help desk ticket, here's find a phone number of, if I need to find somebody in the district, boom, that automatically takes me to the PDF with all the district phone numbers. And you can kind of get the idea here. And then these are the big links that I have. But up here, I've got my goals and objectives, and I've got all the different meetings that I have to do. And here is all of the list of statistics. So it tells me how many people I've worked with and where I've worked with. And basically, this is my portfolio that at the end of the year, I can send to my administration for my evaluation. And I don't really have to worry about everything that people are stressed about when it comes to the doc logs. This is my doc log. So if you're one of those teachers out there that, it comes up to February, May, and June where you're sitting there going, what did I do during the day? What did I do during the year? Well, I've got everything here. In other words, if I click on daily activity log, this is just a Google form that I write. And, every time I talk to somebody, it's here. Here's a quick to-do list. This is just integrating Google Sheets with here, but I was able to embed this in a way that if I click over here, I can just use this natively. You know what? I might not be able to do this because I'm not signed into my school account right now, but I can just simply use this as a dashboard. I don't even have to open up Sheets. I can write directly into the sheet here. And this has everything that I need to go through. I've got a spot here for projects and artifacts. And every time I work with the teacher, I just link to their stuff because for me, it's easier to have one spot where I have names and what they've worked on rather than searching through my Google Drive every 20 minutes when I'm with a new teacher. So I've really used Google Sites to keep me busy, and I've used my Google Sites to keep me floating at the end of the year. Because again, what am I going to do with this? I'm going to turn this over into the archive. And now next year, if I'm looking for something that Kim and I worked on, I've got one page. I'm not spending time searching through my Google Drive. Make sense so far?
Yeah, I like that. That does make a lot of sense. So this, how do people get to this website?
This particular one,
Well, this is your school website. So how do they access that? Through like the school's intranet?
this is only for my eyes only. Nobody
Oh,
else
for
sees it.
you.
So this is a
Oh,
website for me, and I totally believe that every teacher out there needs to have a place to call their own, right? And we call that a teacher page, right? And so many, again, I said this already, but so many teachers just throw up something on a page in September and say, that's it.
yeah,
Nobody.
I really like this, Jeff, because like I find a lot of things that I do for my school, like obviously everything's in folders and Drive, and I have things in HyperDocs and stuff, but the Google site is a nice way of presenting it all in one place. So
Right.
I'm not going out searching for it. I can kind of lay it out by grade, by subject area, and then link to, my Drive or whatnot. So I really like that.
There's
So
so many
that's
different
just that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
as I said, there's so many different things that you can do with these. In our district, we use Google Sites exclusively. Like, this is our vehicle to teach. This is what we use all of our digital playlists with. Are you familiar with the concept of a digital playlist?
Yeah.
So the digital playlist is essentially a page where you just go down the lesson. And when creating professional development, this happens to be, and I'll show you a couple examples here. This is a course that I teach, and we call them cardinal classes. But here's a little bit about the course. Topics include and whatnot. But as I'm teaching it, all I'm doing is I'm going down the website. So here is my slide deck of how I do this particular lesson. Here's all the teacher materials, and then the students or my teachers just follow along. In other words, this could be a 3-hour course that I teach, and everything is right here on the Google site. Now, why do it on a Google site? Why not just put it into OneDrive, or why not put all of your professional development stuff in Google Classroom? And the answer is it's the linking, right? At the end of the day, I have one link. If I could decide to change this out, or if I decide to move this or create something different or anything like that, it's one link that I have to worry about. I don't have to worry about archiving classes. I don't have to worry about creating this class for next year and then going back to find an archive and where is it and where. This is the way to keep your stuff organized. And here's another example. This is a workshop about creating digital activities. And again, you can see this is my lesson planning stuff, but here's my introduction with all of my slides. And this links out to several different spots. Here are my resources, and here's how I do things. And again, this is one place that I teach. This is where all my professional development has. Here's a lesson that I've did on Breakout EDU. Again, here's my course description, and all I do, and this saves me so much time, as I walk into the class, I pull up one link and I open this up. Boom, I'm teaching. It doesn't matter if I'm at school, an ed camp, or ISTE. Everything is here. And here's my teacher materials. Here's all the links that I need. Everything is in one spot. And so for me, this is so much easier, because if I'm doing a PD session on breakouts, or if I'm working with you as a teacher, I just pull up this one page and everything is right here. Now, in addition to using this for PD, again, let's go back to how can you make a professional looking site out of a Google site? And this was one of the biggest compliments I got the entire year, was I showed my superintendent this site. We just got Go Guardian this year. It's fantastic. And my superintendent, who loves Google Sites, looked at this and he actually asked me the question, how did I make this website? And with what did I make it with? And for him to not understand or realize that this was done in a Google site was a huge compliment to me, because
Yeah.
this is now using the full screen banner, and it's a Google site. So, here's our first page. It's please sign in. So I have a form here that's school specific right now, but here's all the links. Again, follow along, go to the Go Guardian website. Here's all the features of Go Guardian. All right. So I just did screencasts here, but the idea is this is now our Go Guardian portal.
That's like for staff to find
Staff to find, and but this is also how I taught the
resources.
yeah, this is how I taught the
Mhm.
lesson, right? So I took all of the how-tos and I turned them into s'mores. Okay. So if I want, I pop this open and here it is, right? So very, very simple and easy to do. Kind of like a
It's
Liquid. It's
visualized.
it's totally visualized with
Mhm.
things. Now, portfolios, right? Again, we can look at all of these bookmarks and that's kind of fun. We can share bookmarks and that's kind of fun too. But I created a box of gimmicks, which are my technology coach things. I used to create pages on Evernote. Like, I actually opened up an Evernote doc, stuck a bunch of links in there. I actually had other links in here where I could do some stuff, and that was kind of nice, but not really. So over here, I created a website called the Technology Coach Box of Gimmicks, and here are resources on Breakout EDU. So if I'm looking for Breakout EDU, and you can see I'm still kind of building these things, but here's everything that you need to know about Breakout EDU as I'm creating it. Or here are links and resources for Google Classroom. And you can see I haven't done a lot of work on this, but you get the idea of how this is going to work. Or if I click over here on Google Forms, this is a Google Forms training all about the certification test for Google Level 1. So if I ever come to your school district and we're doing Google training, well, I can build my resources off of this, right? Here's a all the level 1 requirements, the level 2 requirements, and everything is right here. So I've used this completely as a way to curate everything, but also as a way to, get some links, get some resources. And, there's a lot of neat things in here. Again, this is just linking out to various things. So in other words, this is just a place for me to put my stuff.
Yeah, okay, so I want you to go back to the home page where you had your social media buttons and you were
Mhm.
explaining about the banner.
Oh my goodness. On which site was that?
Um,
Was that on the TeacherCast site or was that
Maybe it
on the
was TeacherCast.
Okay. So if I pull this site over here, and it's so easy to put these things together and it saves so much time.
Okay, so this right now you have your TeacherCast website up.
Yes.
All right. Now I understand how you made the menu bar go across, and I
Yep.
understand how you made the banner, which really looks professional. I really like it. Now, if you scroll down,
Mhm.
I understand how you made this section with the visualization of your bookmarks.
Mhm.
You have your little, like, thumbnails there of your different tools.
Yeah.
Now, if you scroll down, now you have your social media um,
Yeah, the little
social
buttons.
media section
Mhm.
here. So, did you create this? So, in here for the people that are listening and not watching, Jeff has a section banner here with his TeacherCast logo, and he has each social media icon, which is going to be linked to his social media platform, his account. So, I want to know how you made that banner or that section banner there, because I think it really puts in a different look to the website. It kind of finishes, it has that finishing touch to it. It makes
Sure.
it look professional. Um, so like I know like you can use Canva and add the icons and your images in a canvas that way, but
Mhm.
I'm curious to see what you did for this because it looks really nice.
How I made these images?
Yeah, like how you made your social media section, I
Sure.
guess.
So this is my little secret. iconarchive.com.
Huh.
Everything that you need is right here. I just type in
I
social
gotta
media
I gotta get this down.
and there's
Hold
a
on.
ton of different sites, and I just pull up this particular one here on Facebook and it says, "Up, here's the entire icon set that I can browse." And you've got, 50 to 100 and something. Like here's all the different varieties of Facebook from the fav icons up to the 256 pixels. But, look, if I wanted to have a Facebook coffee mug, I can do that. And then if I browse the rest of the stuff in this icon set, here's all the different social media things with so here's your Google Plus, here's your Twitter. So all I did, to be completely honest, is just these are just graphics from Icon Archive that I stole.
Okay,
I mean,
and then
borrowed.
you borrowed, and so then you downloaded it, and then you just simply inserted it into a header, a section
Yeah.
header there.
Well,
That's it.
this is a footer, and
Okay.
the reason I put it in the footer is so that way if I'm on any of these other pages over here, let's see.
The footer will appear on each
Yeah, just
page.
it's just a
Mhm.
little it's a Jeff thing, right? So here happens to be a page that I was making some analytics on, and again, the footer is always on here. So here's my show prep with my links to my Google sites and stuff like that. Um, Everything is on here.
But I want to know how you actually created that image to put into the footer. Did you have to so you downloaded the icons from iconarchive.com,
Sure,
and
I
then did you put them into like a Canva file, and then insert that Canva file into the footer of the Google site?
so everything that you're seeing there is just a graphic. So I saved this graphic and then I went into my footer and I just
Oh, so they're each individual objects then.
yeah,
Okay.
they're just graphics that I got from Icon Archive. I didn't doctor these up at all.
Okay. Because sometimes, like I know with my some of my headers or whatnot, I have to go into like I use Canva, and
Mhm.
I'll put my image in Canva, but my logo, and then I'll add text in there or whatnot. So everything is created in Canva.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought you did here with the social media icons. I really like that. That
These come right so in other words, here, I'm just gonna take this, I'll stick it over here on my desktop, and I'll come back over here, and I'll stick it on my Google Sites, and boom. And then
yeah.
all I did was I just kinda resized it a little bit, and then you can use this little uncrop, and there you have it.
Yeah, I really like that touch. Because like I said, I think it just makes it look a little bit more professional,
Mhm.
which I am gonna take from your I'm gonna borrow your idea and incorporate that
Sure.
as well. And I think also it's sometimes like with me, I know I always try to think that things are harder than what they really are. And with you just explaining that, it just kind of simplified it, and you just nailed it right to, you just nailed it, like for me anyway. So I thank you for that. So
Sometimes with Google Sites, it really is about what your imagination is. One
yeah.
of the things that we did in the last year is we opened up a mastermind for technology coaches. And this all revolves around our Ask the Tech Coach podcast. And if you're an instructional technology coach listening to this, check out askthetechcoach.com. There's a lot of great stuff in here. Now, what we did over here, and we got to come over here. This is our Ask the Tech Coach page. I'm going to pull it up here.
Okay.
And all right. So here we are with our
Yeah,
Ask the
I
Tech.
like how this looks.
And again, this is all branded. Okay. So yes, this graphic up on top, I used Canva for that. Right. So that way everything was branded and all the colors are here. All of these graphics I did in Canva. All right. And again, here's your social media buttons on the bottom. And this whole entire page is designed for people who have joined the mastermind. This is a private special website. So actually you guys are the first people to see this who aren't members. But this entire idea here is to create a communal website where people can learn how to be technology coaches. So using this, I'll just kind of walk you through here. And if anybody's interested, it's teachercast.net/mastermind. You can learn all about it. We recently had the Department of Education on to do a show on COPA and FERPA. So we put a page together all about COPA and FERPA. So when we did our lesson, or I should say when we did our meeting, everything was here. Again, we're using Google Sites and Google Forms here to do introductions. We do certificates with everything. Here's all the agendas that we keep. So these are just Google Docs. And then with the Google Docs, we also put our audio up. So this could be, you could do this as a home for audio podcasts for your students. Right? There's a lot of different things that we can do here, but right here we're just using Google Docs and we're embedding the MP3s. Let's see, ed tech integration plans. This is something that we also work on, is how to help school districts build an ed tech integration plan, and we basically put this together as a form with classroom and sites, and we've combined a whole bunch of stuff to basically build an online course using Google Sites that is assisted by Google Classroom. And we did the same thing here with an LMS. So we're actually teaching tech coaches how to be supportive in a school district that has an LMS. We always have exclusive content, blogs, podcasts. I don't want to. We're good for all of that, and then we have our Facebook group, and then this links out. So basically, we're using this as a membership site. So how do you do that? Let's talk about how do you use
That
the
was my next
technology behind
question.
this. So
Yes.
over here, let me make sure I have the right thing. I can go to the little person. Okay. And the little person here says share with others. And all you have to do is to say the published version. I'm going to click over here on the second one down. The published version is only specific people can view.
Okay.
And that means that in order to see this site, they have to be logged in as their accounts. So I have everybody on here who's an active member of our mastermind has abilities to get in here, to look around, and to do stuff.
So you have to actually share it with them as well.
Absolutely. I'm not gonna go through the whole list, but here's
Right.
here's
Yeah,
Joe,
there you go.
and
Yep.
Joe's a member of the mastermind right now, and it says he can see the published version. So he doesn't have editing and he's certainly not the owner, but he can see the published version, which means it is a membership site.
I
You can do
gotcha.
this for your school, you can do this for the art club, you can do this for your parents association, and heck, you can do this for your family Thanksgiving,
All
right?
right, so here's a question I have for you, and I kind of I want to know what you think. So if you go back to hit share or publish, okay? So you're in the sharing now options.
Mhm.
Just say, for example, you have, you're sharing this website with staff at your school
Mhm.
that has, 150 people that
Mhm.
you need to share it with.
Right.
Would you recommend creating a Google group for
Yes.
that? Yeah, right? And then invite in the people via the group.
And that's just so that way, let's say that for whatever reason Kim no longer works for the school, I don't have to come down here and and look
Find
for
it.
Kim. I'm
Yeah.
actually using Google Contacts to do that. Now some people also use Classroom. That's not a problem.
Mhm.
Um, uh,
But
whatever.
I mean, do you find that you need to do that because of the limitation of sharing the number of people you can share with, or you didn't
Well,
come across
remember,
that
if you're
yet?
doing it only in your school, then you can lock this down to anybody in your domain.
Well, that's true.
So,
That's true.
you know,
Well,
again,
just say it's public then, like it's out there for people that wanna
there's
join, like
there's a
what
couple
you have
things in there.
here.
Number one, let's say that you're doing a Google site for the Sweet Talk, right? There's two things to keep in mind, and I'm going to say this on the surface. Number one, no one is doing a Google search for the Sweet Talks Google site. So you don't really have to worry about people, quote, finding it. Right. And we run into that a lot with teachers. We publish a website and then automatically they grab my arm and they go, can people find it? No, no one's searching for your website. Nobody can find your website. Now, let's be honest. If we want to do something like that, we can come over here and we can go to the publish settings. Oh, I'm going to get this wrong. Publish settings, and we can click on the button that says yeah, I'm going to get this wrong, but there is a button that says stop search engines from looking at me. Okay.
Okay. Oh,
Um
unpublished right there.
Well, unpublished just means take it offline, but that's a different.
That's something
Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically, but you know what? Again, no one's searching for these things. It's amazing that Google, the search engine company, created a product that's really difficult to be found in by search. But that's a conversation about search terms and
Yeah,
metadata
that's
and all that. That's
that's
another
totally
that's my
yeah.
podcast. So
Yeah, that's not me. I'm not an
so
SEO.
the deal with everything is you're the best way to find these is just give out the link because no one can do a Google search and find this stuff unless they really know what they're looking for, right? Um, but now there's different publishing sites that you can use, and it's pretty simple and pretty easy to use. And again, if I use this, I can say, you know, right now only specific people can see this, or anybody can see this, or anybody with a link can see this. So right now I have this as nobody can access this site except for the specific people that are currently enrolled in the masterminds.
Yeah. I really like how you use the Google site though to drive your professional development, to drive your really your daily agenda, everything. Like it gave me a different perspective on using Google Sites because I was under I use Google Sites just to push information out there. I never really used it for
It's a
as a
curation tool,
tool. Yeah, I never
you know,
used it that way. Never saw it that way, and
and
I never used it that way either.
here's what I want to get across to people, and this is the single most difficult thing that I can teach somebody. Google Classroom and Google Sites, you need to think of them as one application.
Why?
Good question. If you look at what Google Classroom is, people say, "Oh, I'm digital. I use Google Classroom all the time." Great. What happens at the end of the year? "Oh, I archive my classes." Well, then where it is? "Oh, it's in the archive." What happens if you need it? "Oh, well, then I have to copy things and I move things over here and I have to do this and that and I'm going to change this to the new what happens to all the links that you set up ahead of time with all of this stuff? "Oh, well, the links are going to change." Right. Well, what happens if you typing? What happens if you have everything on a website? What happens to the links? Well, the links don't change. Well, if the links aren't going to change, you're saving yourself time. You're thinking ahead, you're thinking forward. Google Classroom and Google Sites are one application. I'll give you a good example of all of this stuff with the Tech Coach workshop that I'm actually going to be doing soon at ISTE on Saturday morning if you guys are out there. So if I click over here onto my TeacherCast University site and everything that I've done here, I am using Google Sites for. I need 30 seconds to figure out where I put this. There we go. So over here, this is what happens when you got 3 monitors and you're trying to do everything. So we talked earlier that there is a online course that the mastermind members have for creating an EdTech integration plan. Well, this is what I mean by they're all one application, right? So this is essentially the online course. Okay. So what happens is here's our banner. And yes, this was all Canva.
Okay.
Okay. And here is my slide deck, right? So this is what I'm working on right now to get ready for ISTE. And here's fine. So in other words, when I walk in to do my presentation, I give them a link to this
Right.
and we're going to go down. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about creating group discussions. Now, again, where's the information that I'm teaching off of? What's on the whiteboard? What's behind me? Where's all the information? It's here, right? If I want to show the example, I can click on this and here it is. I don't have to go find it in Classroom, which, Classroom is not a visual animal. But this says using Google Classroom, I want the kids to do this as an assignment. So what do? We're going to download this group discussion. We're going to download this, right? So how do we do that? We click on here and this opens up Google Classroom and this goes to the specific assignment that might have 1 or 2 or 5 different things. Because what is Google Classroom? It's a document manager that has a
Yeah.
calendar attached to it. So the calendar just basically tells you when things are due, right? But it is in essence a document manager. You as my student are going to click on this and you're going to get it assigned to you and you're going to do the assignment and you're going to turn it in.
Okay.
But I'm going to be
That's
teaching off of
that's
this.
that's I wouldn't say that again because that I don't know how many people would disagree with you there, but about Google Classroom being a document source, but
It's a
I
document. What is all this
uh,
doing here? It's managing documents.
it's managing it's okay. That'll be a whole nother show. Because I don't agree with you there with Google Classroom at all. Like
Okay.
I see Google Classroom. I mean, everybody uses Google Classroom in their own for their own purpose, and everybody has their own perspective. So for you, as an ed tech coach, you're not using it as a traditional teacher per se.
Yes, I
As
am.
okay, you may not be using it as a traditional teacher, where I know teachers are using it to manage their assignments, give feedback, grade,
Yeah,
return.
that's document managing.
I don't know. I don't. That might be a good term for you, but not for. I don't. That doesn't sit well with me as a document manager.
Okay.
But it's just um, I could see how I like how you have everything curated in the Google site,
Mhm.
definitely, and it gives me a whole different perspective of using Google Sites, and I like how you laid it all out to make it look professional and brand everything because
Mhm.
it's just really it's quick, it's easy to find information. But my last one last question for you is what how much information is too much on a Google site? Like so that you don't overload the person that's trying to find the information, or you don't overload or overwhelm the person, or clutter it up. So how much information do you actually put on a page so that it's not you're not forever scrolling through?
I think that depends on case by case. For the page that I just showed you, it's vertical because I want you as a presentation template. I'm just going A, B, C, and D.
Okay, so
I would
you're doing it more like a sequential.
right. So,
Yeah,
so the
okay.
idea for that is I gave that online course last year at another conference, and now that I'm preparing it for ISTE, I'm going back to one page, and all the links are there to get you into wherever you need to go.
So for you, it as long as you have all the information presented on that one horizontal page
I'm not
or
sifting through
vertical page, you're not sifting through it. You don't care how long.
for this particular example.
Example, right.
For this particular example. And the reason is I don't have time to go searching through Google Drive, because how many times as a
Yeah.
teacher have we gotten to like the middle of the year and you're like, oh, that lesson that we just did, I found this thing that I did a year ago in Google Drive and I forgot about it.
Yeah.
But if
No,
it's all on if it's all on a playlist or on a website, it's all
yeah.
right there.
I really like that, Jeff. I really, and it gives me a whole different perspective for setting myself up for next year, for
Mhm.
my next school year, as far as, teaching with my robotics
Absolutely.
club.
It
I really do like that a lot. I like how you just curated everything in there.
it's all
And
about the future.
yeah,
I tend to think fourth dimensionally. Maybe that's the triplets. Like, you don't have time to think about it, just because you got to keep moving with stuff.
you just got to keep moving forward. That's it.
But I'm just a big believer that if we use Google Classroom all the time, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, we archive it and it's over here. And then we have to start new. And I think that there's a way to do things where we don't have to worry about getting to September and what did I do last year? And if all that information is on a site, whether it be vertical or horizontal,
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
then we're going to get to September and we're going to go, oh yeah, here we go, and we're going to run with it. And the
Yeah.
question that I ask teachers all the time is, what would you like to be doing in August? And if they say they want to be sifting through old Google Classroom things and putting this together and da 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 da, I say great. But if they say I like to be on the beach and spending time with my family, I go, come with me.
Yeah. No, I do. I like that. And like for
So
like
that's
for
the summer
me
term.
as
Yeah.
a teacher in the middle school, like I use a Google site for, that's attached to the school's webpage.
Mhm.
But to have an actual Google site for my class
Yeah.
and for my tech integration, and just have it more set up as a landing page, and then this class clicks on this link for, their fish ecosystem merge cube lesson, they can just go there and it opens up even a hyperdoc or hyper slides or whatnot. It's just a nice layout of having everything there. And like I like how you have it, like you can set it up for grade level and different subjects and different teachers, and just have everything there, and then the teacher can actually show this into her class.
Right. And
So
here's a good example. Here's a teacher that I've been working with. This is on World War II, right? So the teaching takes place here, right? So it's not fully functional yet, but now we're going to talk about the Treaty of Versailles, and here's part 1, we're going to do this. Here's part 2, we're going to do this, but then at some point it's going to say here's the assignment. Click here to download the assignment. That's where Classroom comes in. That's why I'm saying sites in Classroom, if you think about it as one site. What is a learning management system, right? A learning management system like Schoology, Canva, Canvas, I should say. All of those different learning management systems, they have a part where the teaching takes place, and then they have a part where the content is shared. Google just made them two different applications instead of one. And if you look at them as one, I think it's a little bit more, like I said, this is the hardest thing I ever have to explain to somebody. But if you look at it as one, then you got, oh, this is where I teach, this is where I distribute. They're one application.
yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. That's you redeemed yourself. No, but I agree with you. I mean, I really do like how you set up the sites. Again, I like how you used it as a curation tool, because before we came on air, I was bragging to Jeff about Wakelet and how much I love Wakelet, and I'm using it, and it's been saving me so much time when I'm creating my episode collection. And it just gives you a whole different perspective on using Google Sites as a curation tool. So, you know, um, we were debating about that as well before we got on air.
Mhm.
So,
Everybody has their own way
everybody
of
has their
doing
own
things, and
way.
that's
Yeah.
totally fine. Being a musician, I'm visual. So
Yeah, and I think it when you're visual, you see things in a different way, or it's you see things more clear, and
absolutely. Right. And if
it's
I'm in
got to be
classroom here,
visual or I don't get it.
this to me doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't work for me. And so even to get teachers to put these into the different, what do they call them, topics or something like that, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. But as soon as you archive this, now you got to redo it. You got to redesign it
Well,
again,
you can repost. So, like, you could reuse,
but then you got to find it
posts
again. Like,
from archived classes. So it's not like it's gone forever. It's just you can reuse them. And just to go back, like, if you go back to the stream page,
mhm,
you can expand your posts on there, so it does display any attachments
yeah,
on the stream now, which was new. It's a new update, which is nice. Another
oh yeah, and
visualizing tool. But like you said, the Google site does, have everything there, it
mhm,
curates it there, and then when you want them to go to Google Classroom, they click on it and it goes right there. So I think it's just like you said, I think it's just the way we use it, the way
oh
we
yeah.
see it,
And I
and
think Google
you just
Classroom is great. Like
yeah. Oh, I
and
know.
this is not like I'm pro Google Classroom.
Oh, yeah, me too,
I'm
definitely.
just pro efficiency.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, and like I said, like you said too, like it's just a different perspective
This
on
would not have
getting your task, your perspective, your workflow done in
mhm,
this way. Everybody has a different purpose, and
but
things people use it differently and see it differently. And
this is Google's fault.
this is nice that you presented Google Sites this way because for me, I know with the people that I encountered, they don't use Google Sites like this.
Right.
So it's nice to see how you used it as a curation tool because it even opened up and gave me a different perspective about the tool as well.
If anybody has any questions, that you're happy to reach out to me. You can always go over to teachercast.net, follow me online. All the different links and stuff are there. Um, and you know what? I'd love to meet anybody who has a similar or different answer on these things. I think using a website as a digital hub is something that helps not only as a teacher keeping everything all in one location. I mean, you saw some of the links that I have on my teachercast portal is simply a link into a Google Drive folder
Yeah,
because it's a page and I can quickly get to it as opposed to going to Drive, doing a search, finding the it's all right
it's
in
all
front of
there.
me. It's
Yeah, and
all there.
I like it. And like even when I manage my school website, like I said, I took everything out of Weebly and I made it into a Google site. I do have links to files and PDF files and Drive documents right to the school the school account. So,
Mhm,
I'm using it as well, but it's just not I don't use it as a curation tool. I'm kind of using it more for information.
mhm.
And then when the information expires, I take it down. Like I don't leave it up there that long. So, it's just I think it just depends on the need, and you're certainly putting that need out there and you're pushing it to the max with it. So I'm glad to see that. And I did learn a lot about how you can lock it down. Like I didn't know about the setting with publishing. I didn't know that. So that was new to me. And I didn't know about that icon archive.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
new
that
to me.
that was
Uh,
my savior. And little be known, 2011 when I first created TeacherCast, the original logo was just three things that I found in Icon
That's
Archive,
funny. Yeah,
and
I can't I gotta check
love
that
it.
out. I gotta check that because it really does. It looks like you put a lot of a lot more time into that
Nope,
footer than what you just said, you
nope.
know?
And look, Canva's awesome. Like I'm a Canva ambassador. I think I'm like the only educational Canva ambassador or something like that. But like, there's so many neat, wonderful things that you can use Canva for. But Icon Archive, done.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna check that out. And I know I'm gonna be making some changes to my Sweet Talk website as well. So thanks for coming on today
Thanks for having me.
and showing off and having a little
This is great.
a little debate on whether how we use our tools, and it's always fun having you on.
And you're doing such a great like,
Hey.
the show is awesome. I listen to it a lot. Like, everything that
Oh,
you guys are
thanks,
doing
Jeff.
here is pushing the needle and pushing the limits to what technology can do, and you're helping out teachers. So, you congratulations on the success of the show.
Oh, thanks. And it's people like you and other, like Chris Nessie and all, like you guys have been podcasting and doing this for such a long time. And you guys have been an inspiration to people like me to try to start something new and unfamiliar. So, and like I said, I don't know everything and I'm certainly learning. So that's all we have to do is pay it forward and help each other out. That's
Absolutely.
that's what it's all about. So I appreciate you being on. Thank you.
Thank you.
So let me wrap up the show. Let me share my screen. So I do have to admit, Jeff, can you see me?
I see your screen.
You see me now?
Yeah.
Okay, you see my screen. I do have to admit that I was a little, intimidated coming up with you, because you
What?
you're just like, 10 years in, and I'm just like,
Are we
the
still
rookie.
recording?
The rookie. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the rookie here, so I gotta try to fill some shoes here.
No, all you have to do is make great content. That's all.
That's all it is, right? So if you want to be a guest on my show, first of all, you can go to the sweettalk.com. And this is a Google site. Okay. So if you want to be a guest on my show, you can click on the guest page and you can fill out my Google form here, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you want to view any past episodes, you can click on the episode page, and you can certainly browse through the table and you can watch the show, or you can actually check out the wakelet curation tool, and you can go in and you can see all the links for that podcast or that show right in the curation collection here. um, I am trying to use Flipgrid. So if you want to continue the conversation, I'll have a Flipgrid topic posted, and you can certainly click on the link and you can, contribute to the conversation using Flipgrid. But this is the curation tool that I'm using, which is Wakelet. Also, my idea board for Jamboard is out there. So anybody that wants to learn more about Jamboard, you can certainly go to my page here and read about it. Check out my resource here. It's basically an introduction. It gives you a little bit of information about what Jamboard is, and how you can use it in the classroom. So if you click on one of these, it opens up a Google slideshow, and it gives you ideas and examples on how you can use Jamboard in the classroom. And if you are using Jamboard, please share your idea so that we can help others use it and pay it forward. And lastly, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, my newsletter, and I am on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and Google Play Music as well. So, with that being said, I'm going to go back to my friend Jeff, and I'm back. And that's it. That's a good show. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it. And with that, I will see you guys next time on the Sweet Talk. Have a great evening. Bye.